My name's Thomas Waddle. This is the Whisky Sour Hour. I just wanted to, before we get into anything, alright, I just wanted to say huge thank you. We passed a massive milestone this week. Yeah, anybody that follows the socials will have seen that we passed 2,500 streams on Spotify, which is crazy. I know we're on other sites, but 2,500 streams just from Spotify alone is pretty crazy. I know we're on like YouTube, and the numbers are the numbers, and it does its own thing. But Spotify is like the kind of main launch point for the podcast. It's where we do all our uploads. It's the one I find to be the easiest. And 2,500 streams. That's crazy. I can't. When the announcement came up on my phone, I was like, what is this? And just crazy. 2,500 listens. We're like nine months into this, and it's just been a lot of fun. So for the bottom of my heart, it means an awful lot to myself, and it makes doing this worthwhile. It is not a chore at all. It's something I look forward to every week. I look forward to the conversations that come off the back of the topics we have, whether it's interviews or whether it's just me yapping about films, or it's going to be TV this week. So it's just means a lot, and I just wanted to get this out there now before we get into it, because I was gobsmacked. Just some of the numbers are just crazy, and as I say, 2,500 views only on Spotify. It collates them all together, so we're doing really well. But yeah, that one streaming service does an awful lot. So again, thank you so much for the 2,500 streams that we've had. Crazy. Anyway, that wasn't a cut or anything, I just kept going there. I just wanted a little break. I hope everybody's doing well. Off the back of last week, where we made it very much like the way we used to, and that we would talk about stuff. We were doing that many interviews recently. I just wanted to touch base and just kind of see how things are going on. We've done obviously films last week. There's actually a good rake of TV that's been happening over the last 9 months. I know we're kind of just out of summer. We're going into that period of time where you don't really, have the drive to go out, I suppose, just because the weather's going to change. It's going to be darker nights, and let's be honest, it's like I've been chinned for saying or not realising that people refer to the latter stages of the year as the bear months, which I totally get. Obviously, like September, October, November, December, that kind of stuff. I hadn't heard of that before, so I was a bit kind of like, wow, that's different. So when you get to these months, especially like the October, November, December, it's like the TV and having a warm cup of tea or whatever it is while you're watching, whatever it might be on the box. Yeah, it makes it all worthwhile, and I think this is the best time to do it. So what we'll do is we'll look back over what has been. To be honest, I would go as far to say it's been a pretty poor year. I don't know if it's just because the likes of the big hitters, in my opinion, like I was going to say the Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon aren't on. Again, this is all just me. This is all just the shows that I like. I'm not saying that it's been a bad year for everybody, but I think it has been pretty poor. So we're just going to look over some of the shows that have been out, and I think some shows that will be coming out that potentially could save the year. And there are actually 3 at the moment that I'm really looking forward to, that have just started a couple of weeks ago or are starting today, or by the time this goes up you'll be able to watch the full season of one. So we'll get into that. Uno momento, por favor. But starting all the way back really at the beginning of the year, it was a slow start. I was expecting to see something like The Last of Us. That never ended up coming out till later on in the year. And when it did come out, I was not surprised by that season, purely just because, look, if you've played the game, it's a pretty divisive story. I actually found it really good when I played it, to the point that there was a video of me, and maybe it was just because it was COVID and emotions were running high, but there's a video of me after the big kind of twist 5 hours in that just pretty teary-eyed, talking about my thoughts on it. So When it started, not I didn't have high hopes. I just expected there to be backlash, and backlash there has been. I found some of the character choices or the casting choices, and Belle Ramsey is a great actress. I really don't think that she is. She's like mature enough for the role, and I mean that in a sense that she still comes across as a bit of a petulant child. So when you watch The Last of Us, it's the game has continued on and these characters have grown, and I feel like she seems exactly like the same character. I don't know if that's maybe an artistic choice by Belle Ramsey, whether or not it's something that they've wanted to do while filming, but it just never struck me as this is what this character would be like 5 years, 6 years after the events of the first show. I think everybody else seemed just like a lot more mature. Caitlin Danvers wasn't given a great deal to do as Abby. Obviously that'll come in season 3, which is like basically the second half, and it'll repeat the events but from a different perspective from this season, so hopefully it recontextualises it and makes it a bit better. Again, I'm speaking as somebody who has absolutely no acting chops. I like what I like, and I like to think I've got a pretty good eye for these sort of things, and it was disappointing because of how good season 1 was, how much of a drop off in my opinion this season 2 was, in a sense that I knew it was coming, but I felt like the acting was possibly going to save it. And I was let down, like as I say, Belle Ramsey. It just and there's a lot of horrible likeness out there where they're bashing somebody for their looks. She embodied the character. Sorry, they embodied the character. Like last season, they were great, and then they come in to this, and it's just like. You're the same character. There should have been some sort of emotional growth, especially with what's going on, and you've got like the likes of Isabella Merced, who really carries the episode she's in. She is like a really kind of grounded character, and you feel, I felt like more attached to what was going on with her, and I just felt like she just wouldn't like want to hang about with this character. Just it was. There was just choices made with some of the characterization, and it was poor. I'd still say it was worth watching because season 2 leads into season 3, and to be fair, when you play the game, which is like in 1, so if you really want to know what's going to happen, certainly just go ahead and play it, and you'll be able to see. I found the second half of the game to be more interesting than the first, so hopefully when it does come to the point where we get to watch the season 3, which will be, was it 2 years down the line really? It's getting to the point now where you've got films coming out, TV shows coming out, and it's difficult to remember sometimes, and it's like I don't want to go back and watch a full season because it takes 2.5 years, 3 years for seasons to come out, and I'm somebody who loves like a good 10 episode miniseries or 10 episode series in general. That's like my bread and butter. That's what I want. I don't want to go back to like certain shows are allowed to have like 22 episodes and it's totally fine. A big one that I always talk about is like Star Trek. The Star Trek has like 22 episodes a season. There's 7 seasons. It is, there's episodes of the week, monsters of the week, where it's just like this is nothing to do with the overarching story, and it's very much, episodic. There's no serialization to it. Certain series do have a little bit more serialization, like Deep Space Nine, where there is an overarching story, but each episode adds a tiny amount, if anything, and then there's like kind of key episodes that push the story along. There's shows like your procedurals, your police procedurals that really don't warrant 10 episodes unless it's like something special. We do the 22 episodes, like is it Blue Bloods and NYCS or NCIS or whatever. There's like 911 now. By all means get them out, but the big ticket items, like how did they do Game of Thrones year after year, I think to the last season before there was a 2-year break between them, and they done it. It was so consistent, it was so well done. Like it boggles the mind, but I feel like we've taken a step back when it comes to this. But if it's helping the kind of crunch culture and avoiding having people burning themselves out, then by all means, right, fair enough. But I just feel like it gets dragged out a wee bit too long when you're like 2.5 years for a season. Doesn't suppose it does make it a bit sweeter when it comes round. You're like, finally, but it just hangs over you, especially with the likes of House of the Dragon last year. You were watching it and you were like savouring every moment because you knew there was going to be a drought after this, and the way it ends in such a cliffhanger that you're like, and see, if I knew it was coming out in a year, it'd be a lot easier to stomach. But unfortunately, it's at least 2 years down the line, maybe more if there's any more strikes or if anything else comes up. So with that, you need to take that with what it is. They have came out and said that Last of Us will premiere in 2027, so hopefully they have something in place that they're like, right, the script's at least in place, and maybe with Neil Druckmann moving away, it can be maybe streamlined, but hopefully not lose quality. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Neil Druckmann, by the way, who is the creator of the games, and he was a big part of the TV show, and Craig Mazin is the kind of TV show side of it, and he's guiding it, and he's going to be the kind of singular voice now for the show. So hopefully when that comes out, it's a bit more focused. I think it was a bit scattershot this season, and it took bits for the game, which was good, but bits or missed bits, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that. So we'll see how it goes. Last of Us, let's have a go and give it another chance. Season 3, let's see, 2027, here we come. Some of the other ones that kind of I tend to get, I tend to buy into sometimes the hype for a show, and I'm going to get loads of hate for this, and I apologise if I'm not trying to hate on what you like. I came into adolescence after hearing about everything about it, and hearing just how great it was, and I went in. That first episode is really great. I think as soon as that first episode finishes, it drops off the face of a cliff, and it just was nothing. I was left with nothing. I'm not sure. Is it because of the technical aspects of it that it's one shot episodes? Because like you can appreciate that. You can appreciate the performances of the characters. I find that's about the only thing. I think the script's pretty poor. I think there's very little mystery to it, and you need something to have you coming back. I don't think the writing's particularly good. Like, it just never grabbed me. Netflix is something that I have a bit of a weird relationship with. The only reason I have it is because it's free with my phone contract. If I could, get something else in there that I think would be beneficial to me. Unfortunately, there's no add-ons. I'm like, I'll swap out the Netflix for something else. But I don't understand the value of Netflix. It is just sometimes just pumping out absolute tripe. And there's like Netflix. I don't know if you've noticed this. There's like Netflix celebrities, and I mean in a sense, or Netflix actors, I suppose is a better word, where it goes to Netflix. They maybe buy a show or something, or they make a show, and the character in there or the actor is only known for Netflix things, and they'll turn up in like 5 or 6 projects for Netflix, but they'll not be in anything else. And there's a few in them. I actually don't know names. There was my Oxford or something. I seen a clip, and it came on. When you put your TV on Netflix. I was making a cup of tea, and it started going through like movies that are on, and it was like something like My Year in Oxford. The acting was terrible. The acting was literally terrible. And when I went on, I had to go into Twitter just to see what was the thoughts, and you had people like claiming it was great. Now I ended up watching a few more clips. I think I went on to YouTube Shorts, and I seen some. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. It's my dog is trying to break through the door here. I will let him in and be back in a second. Sorry about that. We are now back in the room with Willow present. So yeah, you've got these, like, as I say, Netflix only like actors that are not going to get work anywhere else, I don't think, but obviously they're doing something. I think we'd spoke about it when Chris Black was in the show a month or two back, the second screen experience that these promote. it's almost like it's enough to hold your attention, but not enough to stop you from grabbing your phone or raising your phone. And I think that's very much telling when you watch when you watch like a really good show. It sucks you in. I think Netflix just aim for that kind of almost like 5 and 6 out of 10 consistently. I watched this is a film, it's no TV, but the last thing I watched in there, just because I like the actors in it, I watched the Thursday Murder Club. I like terrible. It is terrible's maybe a bit of a stretch. Absolutely average. It's maybe better. Damning it with faint praise. But yeah, when you watch it, there's no. And again, I mentioned earlier the mysteries. The mystery just isn't as exciting as you would think. And it opens on a murder from like the 70s, and it seems to forget about this like for the majority of the movie. And in the last 5 minutes, it like, oh, by the way, like this is how we solve it. Like, like come on. Like, when you watch something like, I don't know, let me just pluck something at the air. I'm looking at the films here. The Nice Guys, Shane Black, absolutely incredible movie, underperformed at the box office because it came out in a time where like it was surrounded by other movies that were just eating the money up. But yeah, The Nice Guys is incredible. Like the mystery, you will not know what's going on until literally everything's revealed at the end, and hilarious. Just at a different level of filmmaking here. And Thursday Murder Club, meh, that is what it is. But just I feel like Netflix is like that in general, and I find some of the other streamers, Amazon a little bit as well. I found it very difficult. I don't know why I should like Reacher. I just can't. I feel like it's almost like a parody of itself. And again, going to get flack for it. I just can't get into it. I think if you're wanting quality these days and you're looking at them, I think anything, well, I was going to say HBO, which to be fair is pretty much the benchmark. I think as soon as you hear the you're going to get something good. But in saying that, and just like that has finished after 3 seasons, and I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a fan of the old Sex and the City, and just like that, it was diabolical. Like, it was so bad. I don't know anybody that would. Like, there was no reason for it to exist. It's actually, in retrospect, made things worse, and I think it's difficult to watch like the TV show now prior and then like think, oh, this is where these characters end up. I'm not going to go into it because we could have an episode ranting about that ourselves, and I think that's a very, very niche subject to be going on about. But yeah, when you hear like HBO, Showtime, those kind of ones, and to be fair, like a lot of them have merged. Like Showtime and Paramount Plus have been put together. There's some pretty good stuff on there. I feel like there's maybe a little bit too much. Too much politics probably coming into TV rather than just have a good story for the sake of a good story. I feel like, I've heard everybody talk about Landman. I tried, and after getting what felt like spoken down to for 10 minutes about like the benefits of oil, I was like, I'm out. I'm checking out of this because that does nothing for me. Tyler Sheridan, I'll put my hands up and say I have not watched Yellowstone, but Alice Waddle, the mother, was an early adopter. I have the purchase receipt from Amazon for seasons 1 and 2 long before anybody cared about it. She was a big fan of the Dutton saga, and I've seen bits of it. To be fair, I think Kevin Costner done a lot to rescue that show and make it like it probably quite watchable. I know it fell off the face of a cliff, the popularity when he left. Maybe that's something to do with it. I think, I'm sure there's plenty of money been made by Tyler Sheridan, but I don't think any shows really resonate with myself. Very much, I don't know, the kind of politically charged in a Republican sense, maybe. Yeah, it's just no one that I feel like going back and watching. But with hopefully there's a contract in place that with Sky and HBO that it'll I think it lapses in January, so hopefully HBO Max is allowed to come back after they changed the name from HBO to HBO Go to HBO Max to Max, now back to HBO Go. Sorry, now back to HBO Max. See, it's that confusing. That should hopefully come out in January. It would mean you can get rid of your Sky. Like, who's really watching that? But unless you're watching good TV, as in like you're watching Sky Max or HBO or the Fitbit, like who's really watching anything else? Who's watching like Living, Sky Living TV? I mean, they took off Sally Jesse Raphael and Montel Williams. So what are we watching here? Maury Povich is no more. Ricky Lake, come on. So there's no great deal there. So if we can cut the back in that, get basically the shows given to us. And there is one show that I didn't get a chance to see, and growing up, I think anybody in the 90s was caught up in the hysteria that was ER, and with The Pit comes Noah Wiley back in a doctor role. I mean, it probably is the best doctor around, and basically The Pit's if you read the synopsis, it's basically like 24 but in a hospital, so it's like you're in a hospital for a shift, and it's been getting rave reviews, rave award like ceremonies, like if folk are going daft. It's looks likely to win Emmys. Unfortunately hasn't came out here from what I can see, because we've been dying to watch it, Lorna and I, but hopefully when, like I say, HBO comes out, the season 2 will be out at the same time. I think they're actually going to try and stick to the yearly release schedule, which will be quite exciting. So hopefully when that's there, we'll be able to get that watched and get the kind of medical drama fix, because to be honest, like things like, is it New Amsterdam and Grey's Anatomy just haven't been cutting it for me, I'll be totally honest. So yeah, The Pit looks really good. That's one that will be coming out. If anybody has like Apple TV, like you're missing out if you don't have that, by the way. Some of the shows on there are incredible. Like we've mentioned Severance many a time on the show before. Season 2 finished. Like, prepare yourself, it ends on a cliffhanger. Season 3 has been announced, but expect some wait. I'm talking maybe 2 to 3 years. I know we've just moaned about it, but to be fair, like the storytelling in that, you're like, right, I'll maybe let you away with it, because it is one of the best shows in TV at the moment. That is just a great service, and again, if you've not had it, there are some really good movies, some good TV shows on there. Like we mentioned Adolescence earlier, they have probably the show that I think I expected Adolescence to be, and Defending Jacob. Anybody that's watched that can probably attest to it. It's probably Chris Evans' best role, and I'm saying that genuinely. Like, he's Captain America's fine, but I don't think he's really stretching any acting muscles, apart from like maybe like having that kind of 1950s kind of swagger that he had in the earlier films. But he's very much like, he's just himself in that, so it's nice seeing him kind of stretch himself and actually kind of get out there. Great show. Like one of those ones where you're like, where is this going? Again, mystery is a big part of it to me, and one that I think it makes a show just that it kicks it into that next level. So if you get a chance, watch that. The rest of the stuff on there, you've got the likes of I was going to say Isaac Asimov, but you've got Foundation on there. I've watched a couple of episodes of it. I'm looking forward to kind of binging it, just because I know they've again big breaks between them. But I know that you've got like season 3. I believe season 4's been announced. I'm looking forward to just seeing how that one goes. I'm a big kind of believer on, if you're watching something and you're enjoying it, there's nothing worse than when you find out it's been cancelled. And I do try and hold off, because speaking of Netflix again, just bad habits. How many times have you went down to watch something and you're really enjoying it, and you find out that they're not going to renew it, and they're like, oh, but it's a mini-series. It's a mini-series. It was always a mini-series. No, it wasn't. Come on, don't do that. I don't know. I don't think it was a particularly good adaptation of the anime Cowboy Bebop, but I heard a lot of people liked it, and it kind of crashed and burned. But the way in which they don't tell you they're going to cancel it and you're expecting it, I just feel like you're investing a lot of time, especially with Netflix, because they do drag things out. I feel like I'm battering Netflix here. That Netflix sponsorship will not be coming, unfortunately. Well, but it's that Tidum music. But it's look, it is what it is. On kind of the last kind of bits, because as I say, it's been quite a slow year. I really like The Bear on Disney Plus, the Star section in there. I think they call it Hulu, but here it's called Star. But it's great. It's just a good show. I know it actually does give people anxiety because of the shouting and the stuff that happens there. But it seems like a pretty good interpretation of what a kitchen, especially in like a Michelin star aspiring restaurant, should be. So it's certainly well worth a watch. I think we're in season 4 now. It seems to have flown in. That's one that every year they consistently hit it, and I'm thinking there'll be one, like there is one more season. I'm thinking it'll be the last, purely just because we're at the point now where the characters have reached a point. There is some experimental episodes that maybe leave I don't want to say a sour taste, but maybe a bitter taste. You're just like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. But overall, it's a great show, and it's well worth a watch, and I think Disney Plus has some really good shows. One that I would like to highlight, just because I hear it's amazing, and I'm not a Star Wars fan, but apparently Andor, again, having to wait 3 years between seasons, but apparently Andor season 2, which is the last season, it leads apparently right in to Rogue One, which was a pretty good Star Wars movie, I'll be honest. Apparently it's amazing. It's getting mad awards buzz, so we shall see. It's one of those ones where I'll be honest, it's just not my cup of tea. I grew up at the right time for Star Wars, but it just never grabbed me. I don't know why. I remember these wee like cookies. They were almost like the kind of animal cookies, you know, the half coated kind of animal cracker kind of things, but it was like Star Wars characters, and I just remember like Darth Maul, and it had like a right kind of almost like chocolatey oaty taste. I can still taste them. That's like 26 years ago. Outstanding. I remember the old like Pepsi. There was like Star Wars was just everywhere. Like, when that Phantom Menace came out, man, like there was something about the kind of the era. That like the old Pepsi sign. I remember the old Pepsi machines. Just the flavours, and man, it was a good time. The movie itself was pretty diabolical, if you ask me. But Ewan McGregor's pretty cool, so that is what it is. But yeah, you know, Andor getting rave reviews. It's probably worth a watch, even if you're not a fan. I think Rogue One, like, you could probably watch Andor 1 and 2 and then Rogue One, and then I think that's probably enough Star Wars for you. I don't think you need to watch any more than that. Those bloody space wizards doing naughty things. So naughty things, what the fuck? Going to the dark side there, boys. So anyway, I think the year has been pretty disappointing. There's a few shows, 3 shows in fact, that I just want to highlight. They've just all started pretty recently, so you're pretty exciting to jump on the bandwagon, and from 3 different houses. So it's not like this is all from Amazon or all from, you know. I think it's a pretty fair split. So Willow's back and getting quite excited. So if you hear any kind of scratching, we'll just deal with it. We'll just go. We're trying to do it in one shot here, so it's quite exciting for that. So first one I'm going to say, Alien Earth. Now, I'm a massive fan of the films, probably to the point that it freaks me out. When Alien Earth was announced, the release date, I went on to Game Pass, and there's an Alien game called Alien Dark Descent, and it's not even like a first person shooter or anything. It's like you control a squad of Marines, and it gives me that much anxiety. I'm like, I can play it for maybe like 20 minutes at a time, and otherwise I'm just like freaking out, and I'm, stress is like a gameplay mechanic in it. I totally get it. Like Alien, I watched it far too young, and Aliens just I wasn't afraid of like going upstairs or anything, man. But those xenomorphs and just it's pretty scary, man. It freaks me out. So Alien Earth came out. I don't think you can do a scary TV show. I didn't think you could do a scary TV show. I remember when American Horror Story first came out, and you were thinking, it's a bit creepy, but that's about it. Alien Earth took, in my opinion, the best bits from the first 2 movies anyway, and maybe a little bit for the third, and it's just amazing. It's so good. It looks like a movie. Every episode is like the right amount. It teases enough that you're happy to wait to next week, but also gives you enough answers. Like, there's things in it. It will maybe talk about, like there's a plot point that you're thinking, oh, this is going to be the key point. Like, a character knows another character, but this character doesn't know that they're related. That straight away they're like, look, by the way, we're related. That's it. So it's like satisfying almost. It's like, because how many times do you watch something and you're like, oh, see if you just said what was going on there, it would have sorted the problem out. That's what this is like. It's like, it gives you enough dangling threads to be like, this is what's going on. The most recent episode from recording this is a flashback episode, and it's basically a remake of the first movie, and it's incredible. It's so good. It's like the movements of the aliens are creepy, and it's not even that. Like, xenomorphs, as in the big aliens, they're not even like they're like the main thing, but they're like, there's so many other interesting aliens that are in it. There's this like eyeball octopus thing, and it is the creepiest wee thing you'll ever seen. But also, it's like, every week I'm watching, I'm like, and I'm don't actually hear about it, I'm like, what's that wee bastard up to, man? What's he doing? It's so good. I think it's 8 episodes, so we've got that kind of mini series balance. We're getting into the home stages here now. Whether or not it's going to need, is it going to be a mini series, or is it going to get renewed? I hope anybody that I know that's speaking about it is singing high praise, and it's like, you can tell this is not, Noah Hawley has not messed about. He's not been like, I want a second screen experience here. It's absolutely not. Like, you are in for the ride here. To be honest, if you're not getting any spoilers from it, I would maybe wait 3 weeks until it's all out and then just binge it, because every week very rarely do I get up to watch a TV show in the morning. I'll be honest, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, I will set an alarm early, take the dogs out a walk, get a cup of tea, sit down, and I will watch that at like 6 in the morning, and then I'll be like ready to go. Like, Alien is on that level where I'm like, I need to know what's going on before I go to work. Like, I need this in my system. Watch it. It is incredible. It's probably so far the best show of the year, and the only reason I'm saying that is because it's a bit further in. The second show I wanted to just highlight, that's recently just started, and episode 3 will be going live today of recording, which is Friday. Peacemaker season 2. Now, I know we always talk about DC stuff, and I don't want you rolling your eyes. I know we've mentioned like Superman and all the stuff that's coming out with that, but it's amazing. Again, it's on par with Alien. The reason I'm saying Alien's a bit higher on me is because right now we're 3 to 5 episodes different, so it means that we know more of what's going on with Alien, and there's still plenty of mysteries. Right now, Peacemaker's all mysteries, but the difference being is, when the first season came out, it was like fun, and it got that balance of the characters an arsehole, but at the same time the characters got so much heart, you can't not like them. Whereas people talk about Always Sunny in Philadelphia, right? I cannot get into that because I hate all the characters. There is no redeeming qualities, and folk are like, that's the point. I don't care. I don't watch something because I need to like the characters. I don't watch it because I just want to see them do horrible things. Like, I don't care. Like, that's Peacemaker's like the exact perfect balance. It's like somebody who is like, should be totally unlikable, but has had so much childhood trauma and is actually just a sound guy in like a horrible situation brought up by the wrong people, and it just works well. The characters, all the supporting cast is incredible, and John Cena is just putting on like an amazing performance. To anybody to say that he's behind The Rock or anything on the acting chops is ridiculous. There's one scene, Peacemaker Chris Smith, the John Cena character, is sitting speaking to 2 characters who I don't want to spoil, but who mean a lot to him, and they leave the room, and from reading excerpts from like articles where like John Cena and James Gunn have spoke about this scene. James Gunn was like, just put your head in your hands, and I think John Cena comes out and says, like, I could cry if you wanted to, and they're like, right, let's try it, and like he just starts crying, and it's like, it's the most amazing thing. Like, John Cena is like award worthy in this, and that's no exaggeration. Again, supporting characters are all amazing, and the way the story's rolling out, it's apparently going to have a lot to do with the Superman sequel, which, for anybody who didn't know, was announced on Wednesday there. Now, we were all pretty sure it was coming, but it's July the 9th, 2027, so it's only 2 years away, which when we're talking about movies and TV, like I'll take that. Movies, 2 years is fine. Sometimes you're like a year between a movie can be a bit much, unless it's the Harry Potter movies. You're like, right, fair enough, let's get into this, or Lord of the Rings. But 2 years is perfect, because you've got Supergirl next year, and then it's going to lead on for there. And from every review of the show, basically is they've seen up to episode 5. Now again, there's 8 episodes to this. The last 3 episodes are supposed to be like balls to the wall crazy. It picks up almost exactly where Superman leaves off. That it feels like it means something, and I mean that in a sense that if you watch the Marvel movies, when you finished Endgame, the TV shows up to that point, like the Netflix shows, they were all like in their own wee world, and so was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then there was like an Agent Carter, like they were their own thing. Like the movies never even pretended to know that they existed, so you were watching them and you were like, oh, that's Peggy Carter for the Marvel movies, but there's no like transition or overlap between them other than like the odd like wee Easter egg, but like, you know, MD could watch it, whereas like Peacemaker, because it's made by James Gunn, who directed Superman, who's like the kind of figurehead curating this universe that DC's creating, the excitement is just like, when you're watching it, you're like, this means something to the bigger picture. I mean that, like when you watched WandaVision, even, which was probably one of the better of the TV shows, like it didn't really add anything. Like the reason for that being, when they wrote, I think it was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the writer of the movie had nothing to do with the TV show and didn't even watch it, so there was like character beats that were totally missing, and it really did, you know, like kind of ruin the movie. I'll be honest, I've not seen Captain America, and I know that the Captain America TV show, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, really you don't need to watch it. Well, like, know what I'm saying, that's what's the point. But you need to make the homework fun, and if people are going to sit down and watch it, you need to make at least a good TV show that then leads into a good movie, and you're totally getting that with Peacemaker. You've got just John Cena killing it. Supporting cast is unreal. Tim Meadows needs a shout out. There's a joke, and I don't want to give anything away, but just bird blindness. That's all I'm going to say. Bird blindness. You know, it had me like laughing so hard. Just it is amazing. Tim Meadows just kills it, and I think if it was anybody else, it'd be difficult to like take it seriously, if you know what I mean. Like it was such a good line, such a good joke, such a good delivery. It's brilliant. Again, we're only 3 episodes in. It could fall off the face of a cliff. I highly doubt that. Like I highly doubt it, but it's there anyway. And what's to come for the DC is exciting. They've just started filming Clayface, which is like going to be a kind of horror movie for next kind of November time or October time. Perfect timing for it. Great. The Batman, those kind of characters like are all very much like Halloween-y. I mean, the best Batman story in my opinion is A Long Halloween. So yeah, like it's so good. And yeah, just when you're sitting down watching this, you just know you're part of something bigger, which is good. And with Lanterns coming as well in kind of early 26, that'll be an exciting time to kind of be a DC fan and just a fan of something fun in general. And that leads us into the last show that we were going to talk about. It is The Paper, which is a spin-off from The Office, the American Office, just to be precise. It's a show that, to be honest, did it really need to exist? Who knows? But thankfully it's getting pretty good reviews. You can binge the entire season on, I think it's Sky, or Now TV, their streaming service. So basically, Paper's, you know, in dire need of of leadership, and it's just I don't like. I've watched an episode. I've watched a trailer, and I'm like excited to like know very little about it and go in and enjoy just watching the show. But Domhnall Gleeson is the man that comes in. Will he be a Michael Scott-like character, or will he be something totally different? I'm hoping for something totally different. We have Oscar for the Office for a little bit of continuity, and I imagine you'll have some other cameos down the road, which will be good. Yeah, that's streaming completely today, so you can get that kind of binging and enjoy that. But yeah, those are the 3 shows I think could probably salvage this year, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes for there. But I hope that's kind of pretty much covered everything that I would normally speak about when it comes to TV. Aye. I'm just gonna leave it in that. I've kind of expelled. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, I've exhausted the list. So, if you want to get in touch, you can always contact us at contact@thewhiskeysourhour.com. We are on all, apart from X, social medias at the Whisky Sour Hour, and yeah, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and YouTube, please just give us a follow. It's a little bit of a click, and it gets us where we need to be. And if you really want to, you could drop us a little review on Spotify, which always helps. Remember, 2,500 listens over the last 9 months, which has been pretty exciting. So thank you so much for that. I've been Thomas Waddle. This has been the Whisky Sour Hour. Cheers.